Hello everybody and welcome to the Hospitality Maverick podcast with me, Michael Tinkser. We at Hospitality Mavericks are here to inspire leaders in the hospitality and restaurant industry to create heart-centered and profitable businesses from the inside out, the kind that both employees and customers love and support. In today's podcast, we are extremely lucky to be joined by Marta Pogroszewska, MD of Gail. Marta is passionate about building high-performing, empowered and accountable people and teams. Prior to Gail, Marta worked at Pret A Manger for 12 years, in roles ranging from General Manager to Director of Operations in the US. In this episode, we sat down with Marta to talk the industry, the power of people first, leadership, technology, and Gail's approach to expansion. Lots of great nuggets here to take away, no matter which industry you're from. Enjoy! I'm super excited to welcome Marta on the Hospitality Maverick podcast. Who's Marta? She is the MD of Gail's Bakeries. Well, welcome, Marta.
Thank you so much for having me. We were trying to arrange this for quite a while now, so I'm really happy that we're now here in beautiful Brighton and have an opportunity to talk about industry and all things.
Yeah, and thank you very much for coming down. That's always a pleasure when a guest chooses to come down and visit you down here at the coast. We're doing the recording in Platform 9 and they have like a meeting room where you can look over the town, and normally it's a beautiful view. You can't see much today because it's raining a bit in the middle of July, so yeah, it's a bit sad today. It's still a lovely place.
Yeah, it's still not bad. Anytime when you're by the sea, it's always good. You can't go wrong with that. And now we have 2 bakeries here in Brighton, so I have more reasons to come than ever.
So for the people who don't know, should we start with Marta, who Marta is and where she's from and why she's here now with Gail's Bakery? Could you give us a bit of an enlightenment on that?
Marta is a very happy person. On a serious note, yeah, I'm really happy. I am, on personal level, I'm a mom of a 15 years old son. I'm super proud of him. I talk about him a lot. He inspires me to do a lot of things in my life, enjoy my life and make sure that whatever I do has a good purpose. I am now working as an MD of Gail's. I joined Gail's 3 years ago. My journey in hospitality is quite long. I've been in the industry for 15 years now. I came to London in 2003. So 16 years ago now. And when I came here, I never thought I'm going to end up in hospitality. But in 2004, I joined Pret and I fell in love with Pret as a business, but also with the industry. And I've seen a lot of opportunities for growth and a lot of opportunities for myself to embrace my passion for business and everything that I've been studying for many years. So I really enjoyed my job there. Actually, in Pret, I had something like 14 or 15 different job titles. I grew through ranks. I ran operations in the UK and I moved to New York in 2013. I spent the 3 years with Pret. I loved it, absolutely. And 2016, I made my choices and I decided to come back to London and do something else, explore new opportunities. And I came across Tom, the CEO of Gail's, and he inspired me so much. I couldn't figure it out at the beginning. Why do we have this connection? The longer we work with each other, the longer I work with him and learn from him and understand his values and understand him, the more I understand why did I connect with him in the first place so quickly. And I haven't looked back since. I had amazing 3 years at Gail's. I have a phenomenal team and really enjoying being here.
For the people who wouldn't know what Gail's is, I think the most people out there know Gail's. You how many shops do you have now?
52. We're opening 53rd in a couple of weeks. Yeah, in Maida.
What kind of offering is it that you do if you were sitting and thinking, I've never heard about Gail's, what are they doing?
If someone never heard of Gail's, please get in touch with me through yourself. I will definitely invite anyone who wants to see for themselves and taste for themselves in the first place what Gail's is. We have the most wonderful, delicious, world-class offer of craft baked food, cakes, breads. Launched really delicious range of salads recently. We have phenomenal coffee. Our coffee is really one of the best in the market. Again, craft, artisan, super well executed, something that we're really proud of. So I think Gail's is somewhere where you want to be every day. It's a place, it's a team, and it's delicious food, really.
I was quite lucky. So Marta brought me, I think there's cake in that box.
A lot of cakes,
a lot of cakes. So somebody's going to be happy when I bring that home this afternoon.
Yeah.
It's going to be, my son's going to be very happy. He likes cake as myself. So yeah, and for people that haven't tried, I can only say, yeah, the coffee is quite unique.
Coffee is unique, yeah. We are very proud of our coffee. Obviously, it's a massive part of our business, but it's really so well done. Our coffee team and coffee training team, and Jessica, our head of coffee, is doing absolutely fantastic job in training baristas and everyone else in the business. Pretty much every single manager, leader, and barista is trained on coffee in Gail. So the passion for quality and execution of our coffee is absolutely there, as much as the quality of the bean and the milk and everything that goes into it. But Jessica's soul and Jessica's love for coffee really is, and you can find it in every single cup of coffee we sell.
It's gone really fast with Gail's over the years. I can still remember when I moved back to London in 2013. There was about a couple of handful of shops, maybe eight shops or something like that. But it's gone really fast now. You just said shop number 53 was opening.
Yeah.
Tell a bit about that, because it has been a part of the journey where a lot of restaurants own, but we're now in a market where nobody's doing anything. If they're doing anything, they're turning out the light in the shops. But you're still opening.
Yeah, we're still opening, and I think we just warmed up, to be honest with you. We have great plans ahead of us for the next 3 years. We just finished building our 3-year strategy, and there is more to come, I can tell you that. A lot of people are asking the question, why are we growing and how are we growing? I think how is probably the easy answer. It's thanks to our teams and the setup that we now have at Gail's. We've worked really hard over the last few years to make sure that we build an amazing team that is capable to grow and is ready to grow and wants to work and be in very, very dynamic business that grows quite fast, quite rapidly. It brings its challenges, but it also brings its advantages for people. People's careers and learning opportunities are fantastic. Sometimes pace is high, but those resilient and determined and committed people in the teams we have, they absolutely enjoy it. And I think the second part to it is the systems in place and ways of working and all the background that you've set up in order for business to grow is equally important. And we've worked hard to set ourselves up for growth with a great, ways of working and systems in place.
And I guess also, you said it before, and I think you're right about that. Gail's is a place you want to go every day, so it's a bit like you're not dependent on if it's going up and down, because people eat cake and drink coffee every day. If you just execute well on it, that's not a dying trend, I guess.
Probably people don't eat cake and drink coffee every day. Cake maybe not that thing, but they definitely can eat salad, can eat delicious brunch and breakfast. And, we cater to everything from vegans to really indulgent afternoon treats. So yes, you can pretty much eat at Gail's every day, breakfast, lunch and dinner for a month, and you will have choice to kind of do something else, try something else every day.
So you're opening in that speed, and you're thinking about finding property is probably become easier. I don't know if that's what they're saying out there. But what about your team? You mentioned the team before. They're ready for growth. There's a lot of people I meet in the moment. They talk a lot about it's hard to find the right people. And there's not enough people out there. They use the word talent crisis. What is your view on that? Because you must hit that wall as well as when you move fast and need to open stores.
Yeah, I mean, talent crisis, that's strong words. I guess there's one thing that I fundamentally believe in. It's really planning for really strong succession. And it's not succession to replace people, it's succession to enable people to grow and take more and more accountabilities, so people who we work with and people in our teams can grow simultaneously with the business. And I think if you have the team that is able to grow themselves and you are able to help them to grow, and they embrace their skills and embrace their talents, and you kind of harness it and help them develop, that's what really pushes the growth, and that's what really helps the business thrive, and you need to look for talent, you need to recruit teams externally. Sometimes you need really an injection of new skills, new knowledge, new fresh point of view, and then you probably go outside and look for those new additional skills that you need for the teams. But fundamentally, the first and most important thing is to embrace your team and help your team grow with the business and set everything up for them to be successful. Then you probably mitigate a little bit of the risk of as you said, dry market or lack of talent on the market. Yeah. You're not dependent on anyone else. It doesn't matter matter what other people are going to do right or wrong. It only matters what you can do right with your team. And I stick to that. There's one thing that sometimes we tend to forget, especially in the tougher times. We forget how good people were in the great times. And if you can remember that, and if you always remember how great your team is when you celebrate, when you are successful, and when you thrive, and in probably weaker moments when when there's a little bit of a downturn, you kind of remember this and pull on people's talents and strengths and everything that is good in them. You're going to pass through the downturn so much faster and so much easier. You will not need to move on with your teams. You just need to remind them, and you need to remember how great they are. Pull it out from them, and that's what will take you through the downturn. So our turnover, because of our approach, because of our commitment to our teams, decreased massively. I mean, the numbers we started from, I can't even begin telling you where we started with our turnover, something like 168% or
wow.
something like this. And I mean, we are now at a third of it, and it's because of the approach that we have. I don't know if you've heard this saying that culture eats strategy for breakfast.
Yeah.
There's this great book, The Mind of the Leader, that I read recently about mindfulness and selflessness and conscious leadership. And it embraces everything around exactly that you need to take care of yourself, you need to take care of your team, and you need to take care of your organization equally when you're celebrating and when you're struggling. Because when you're struggling, the great qualities and strengths of your team will take you through that. And this is the approach. And going back to your original question, this is my strategy and my plan and my way around not really having to look for people continuously. And
It's very interesting you use the word succession.
Yeah,
it's something I've tried to practice myself and tried to learn the people I work with through my life. That's the most safe way to create a consistent business is that you have a succession plan, or you have start thinking about that one day they're going to leave us because we only borrowed them. So we have to think about, is the next one ready? And it's not about there's just a name in a spreadsheet or on a list. It's do they have the capabilities to step up when they need to step up? There will always be a gap, but it has to be as small as possible. And that's something I learned. I think you probably learned that from Pret. I learned at McDonald's the importance of that, because if you can't develop leaders, you can't be promoted. That's how it works.
It's not only their capability, but also their willingness. Sometimes people choose to do what they do and choose not to want to grow. And we need to respect that as leaders in any business, of any team, on any level. It really doesn't matter who you lead. It matters that you respect the motivations and desires that people have, because you can't push someone to take the job that they don't really want. If someone wants to be the most amazing baker for the next 5 years, kudos to them. And we have a lot of people who want to stay and be amazing bakers. And we have bakers who came to Gail's to run bakeries and they want to manage the bakery, and we help those to grow into management roles. But those who want to be the best bakers, they become head bakers, and then they train the talent around them. So it's the respect and recognition for what people want as much for what they're capable of that makes kind of this balances.
You also said something that was like sweet music in my head. You started with you had to lead yourself. Or you had another word for it, but you said lead yourself, then you learn to lead others, and then you lead the organization. And it's a principle the way we created our leadership development program as well, because if you don't start with yourself, where are you then? Because you are the one they're going to be looking at when the day you go in the door. So leadership is very visible.
Absolutely.
So if you don't have the energy and the power you need, and you're not in the right balance, how are you going to actually start leading anyone?
Absolutely. And also, if you expect people to do something else that you do, you perceive, you believe in, and you role model, it's never going to work. It's just becoming fake and unsustainable for in the long term, and people won't enjoy being there. And I think that's not what we want, isn't it?
No, and it's interesting when you start working with yourself, the power it gives you.
Yes.
Because the other two next steps becomes quite easy, because the energy you send out, you almost accept it already as the leader without being, you don't need actually to have a shirt on or anything. They just know that it's you. Yeah. Because the way you enter the room or because you are confident in yourself and you feel good about yourself. So it's very interesting you said start there, because a lot of training often start with, we're going to give you some skills in leading teams and how to communicate with people, but that's just a step too far if you're not in control of the other bit. Or you can always be better. You're never done. Leadership is like a skill and a muscle. You keep on training. I call it solving the Rubik's Cube. You're never done. You can always do it faster. Then you also said something else, Marta. You said that even in hard times, it's how you, in a way, see the world. You have a circle of influence, you in a way say, to change that perspective. I think that was really inspiring as well. So with these things in the arsenal, going into where the industry is now, and you, like anyone else, has probably looked at it and think this is quite crazy what's going on out there. What is your thought about where we are as an industry? And there's a lot of people that talks about the perfect storm and, costs, workforce is cliffs, you have Brexit, you have economic uncertainty, you have technology changing the society and our industry. What is your view on all these things, and where do you see we are?
I'm always a glass half full person.
Mm-hmm.
We all can choose the perspective that we see the life and the industry and everything. So a lot of the perspectives depends from where you look at this and where you sit. Obviously, being at Gale's and being in part of the thriving business that grows continuously, we probably look at the world from a little bit different perspective, and we look for opportunities in a different way. And it's sad to see really big brands falling apart and crumbling and disappearing from high streets and from towns, and you just kind of wonder what happened, what really went wrong, and what was that everyone else can learn from, what is that everyone else can think about for their own businesses to avoid being in the same place. I think the industry is always will be fluctuating. It's a dynamic hospitality. It's really incredibly dynamic. The trends, overall visions of different businesses set the tone that constantly changes and churns the reality around us, and the innovation and the influence of technology and influence of the whole world on especially a place like UK, like London, and trends around the world on that will always make it a super dynamic industry. So the change is given, and probably it's like similar like with business. If you have the team that you believe in, if you have the plan that you believe in, if you have a very clear vision and you understand where you're going and you will set yourself up for it, the sky is the limit. The circumstances don't change. I really do believe it doesn't matter what other people are doing wrong. It only matters what you can do right. And I think in industry, as colleagues, as friends, as everyone together, if we helped each other sometimes and maybe had each other's back in really toughest situations, and probably reached out more and had more conversations about, hey, I'm struggling with this. How do you deal with that? Hey, I'm looking at this. How do you deal with that? It's never good for us to see other businesses falling, because it impacts everyone. It impacts mood in the industry. It impacts the economy, and the best thing we can do to each other to actually help each other. There are many places where Gale's is and thrives thanks to the strong competition that we have around. If the competition wasn't as strong around, we wouldn't try to be as good as we are, and also it wouldn't bring as many customers as it brings, obviously. So there are different ways of looking at this.
Yeah. And I think you're right. I call it environment predicts performance. So if the competition is sharp and moving all the time, you will move with them.
Yes.
We have an urge as human beings inside us, even though you have. And I think another thing you think that's very...
But also, you don't need to compete against
No.
other businesses. You compete with them. You just want to be the best you can be.
Yeah.
And everyone else around you is just pushing you to be better. It's not about competing against anyone. And it's not about being happy when someone, when something doesn't go right for someone else. It's incredibly important to remember that for me and for anyone in a business. I've seen a lot of great teams and great businesses going through difficulties, and when they ask for help and when they stick together and have a clear plan, they get through it.
Yeah, I think one of the things you said has been quite clear, and what we could see when we do some work with people as well, there's that vision or clarity of direction that's often missing. There's a lot of great initiatives, but why are we doing them, and why do we need to go through with this change to actually, because we actually need that, there needs this purpose of why we're on the journey. And I think maybe that's sometimes what's going wrong when it really, really goes wrong.
Yeah, and it's so easy to divert from the original vision of the businesses and original way of the vision it was supposed to be executed. It's just, there are so many layers and decision makers in the businesses. If you even, take a traditional hospitality business, you have the CEO, you have management team, you have number of departments, you have general managers of the sites, and then you have the teams that actually talk to customers. So this message from the vision, from the center of the purpose of the existence of the business, by the time it gets to the customer, it could be like a bit of a Chinese whisper. One person deviates from the vision with just, sometimes it's a word, sometimes it's a sentence, sometimes it's just a statement, sometimes it's, unclear communication. And the further you go out from the center vision through all those layers of the business, the more difficult it is to actually deliver it to customers. So really clear focus and strong channels of communication and very clear plan, as simple as you can, will help you sustain this vision and ooze the vision through all the layers up to the customer.
I totally agree with that. And also like sharing that plan, you said that sharing it all the way out to the front line. So they also understand that they are not just serving a cup of coffee, they are building the church or building the ship. Another thing that's interesting here is that talent crisis we were then talking about a bit before in the industry. Mm-hmm. I often say to people, I don't think we have a talent crisis, because the same amount of people for everyone. We just, as an industry, as you said, that this is not good for the industry that happened. It's actually just making it, like, from an employer point of view, employer brand point of view. But also I think I often say a bit provocative, we have maybe, and we all are part of that, we have a leadership crisis, because we need to set a new standard to get people. People don't leave a business, they leave their manager. What is your view on that? And because I meet a lot of people in hospitality, they often have left because, just had a very hard time with their boss. Been very unreasonable.
Yeah, obviously what I would say first is the two to tango. So we all adults, we all have our voices, and we all need to learn how to manage upwards as well, and we all have bosses of some sort, and sometimes we manage this relationship successfully and sometimes less successfully, and I just want to acknowledge that it's not only the kind of a bad boss scenario. But I totally agree with you that the leadership is instrumental for how successful businesses are and how successful teams are. Being able to build highly performing team that delivers sustainable results. It's not, hullabaloo for a couple of months, great success, and then it fizzles out. It's about really building a sustainable, long-term, highly performing teams with a long-term vision. Sometimes it's underestimated, and sometimes people forget about this, and they get lost in the day-to-day reactive business and forget what's the big purpose and where are they going and what they're trying to achieve, and pushing wrong buttons with people, and the teams get lost. I think we all been in this situation somehow, sometimes, and guilty as charged probably. I wouldn't be surprised if there were times in my career that I've totally created them probably as well. But as you go, you learn and you see what works with the teams, and I think it's one of the biggest joys of our careers in hospitality to actually develop those teams and help people succeed and see people grow through ranks. The number of successful careers that I've observed over the years is just incredible. We've recently promoted group manager from bakery manager, one of the bakery managers, Carolina, and I've recruited her as a team member back when I was a manager 10, 12 years ago or something, and she's now here doing phenomenal work. She is excellent, and she was promoted into operations right now. And I know her for all those years, and I'm not her line manager, so I didn't promote her. She just goes through ranks and drives her own career and tries to be the best as she can be. We're opening opportunities for everyone, and she takes them, and that's the perfect scenario. Next week I'm going to meet director of operations for a Canadian company, Matt Radish, who is coming here just to visit, and we are now good friends, but we used to work together when I was operations manager back in Heathrow many years ago. He joined the team and ran one of my shops, and now he is super successful, drives a really great business forward with the owner, and is doing really well. Those things make you remember and appreciate the impact that you can make, not only on the business, not only on P&Ls, but also on people's lives, on their careers, on their well-being very often. That's why, going back to the leadership question, if we forget that there is this people element, and if we forget that the career is long, the life is long, the years to come, we don't think about what's going to happen in 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years to those individuals. If we mislead them, we can really impact their lives and their careers in a very negative way. I also, for that reason, never hold grudges. We all make mistakes, and we all have to move on as fast as we can if someone wants to, but the biggest joy is to see people grow. And if you can be a mindful leader who is compassionate and can, be selflessly supporting others, it's beautiful, and the results out of that are fantastic.
Yeah, it's an art and at the same time a science, leadership. And there's many people that says to me that you can't learn leadership, and it's a bit like the Rubik's Cube. You can, but it takes practice, as you say, and you will make mistakes. Yeah. And we all done them. We all made like short-term decisions where we look back afterwards, oh, that was a bad decision, or I lost a good person there because it was actually what I did or didn't do. Absolutely. Or didn't see.
Absolutely.
And there's often sometimes what you don't see. I can remember a situation where I was part of a growing business and we forgot the well-performing units because they were just taking care of themselves. And then suddenly they didn't get that, call it love, touch point they needed on a bi-weekly basis or weekly basis from any of the senior people, and suddenly they went for another job. Yeah. And it was not because you have done anything terrible to them, you just haven't been there. And people like to see the boss. So I think you're absolutely right, and I agree also there's two to tango in a way. Looking at your growth strategy, and you have that succession planning, what is your magic thing you do with people in Gail? What have you put in place to you drive that turnover down? That's tremendous, just from from a cost point of view, but also from when you want to, as you say, want to scale. But you, in a way, I often say you can easily scale units than you can scale people. That's the hardest bit to get right in the organization. So what did you think the 3 magic touch points are that you got right in Gail's that works really well for you guys? Because I still believe that everybody needs to find their own ingredient for this. There's not like a one-fit-all approach to this.
I think there is no magic in it is a team. I think we've built a great team that really understands those values that girls have thoroughly, and we all do our best to exude the values and role model those values and make sure that we are standing up and leading people by examples, and we're showing them what we want to see as well. And I think there was obviously a number of tactics and number of plans that we've had to drive our succession planning and help people stay with us, from trying to find better ways to recruit people and find talent more effectively. We've recruited a phenomenal recruitment manager who is helping us with that. We've actually put a system in place, ATS, that helps us with selection and so on and so on. So we've really spent a lot of time on thinking about recruitment. Who do we recruit? How do we recruit? Where do we recruit from? What is our perfect employee? We spent a lot of time on thinking how we train. We've implemented online training platform. We've implemented training courses. A couple of years ago, we had only a couple of training courses with lots of passion and everything, but we now have really nice suite of training courses for each role. We have an online training platform. We have quite significant training team. We train specialist skills very seriously around food and coffee, and there's a lot of passion and knowledge and skill going into this. Going back to coffee again, Jessica has really professional accreditation. Our new training center is being built so we can provide really serious certifications to our teams, and we really took this seriously. So if you find the right people, if you develop them in the right way, and then you engage with them to want them stay on with you, and you make sure that they have fair pay, you really look into people's well-being, and we've done a lot of that. We work with Perkbox, and we've put in place great holidays packages, and we have great rewards and recognition overall for our teams. We have fantastic platform, Girls Together, on Facebook, where pretty much all our team, 85% of our team are signed up, and it's completely voluntary. We don't tell people they don't have to sign up. It's only if they want to. And you can see the culture that is driven, that you can see by the posts, you can see by, what people talk about, you can see the mood and if they are happy and what makes them happy and what drives drives the positivity and what drives the engagement. And it's a really important platform for us. I absolutely love it. I can show you some posts later. And we don't put any kind of regulations there. We don't tell people what they can talk about, what they can't. We just tell them, sign up if you want and talk about whatever you want. It's just fantastic to see what people are proud of, the pride of great coffees that they deliver, great teams that they have, team events, staff meetings, successes, sales records, super P&Ls, promotions. That's what people talk about all the time. So they engaged and they emotionally invested in their teams, invested in Gail's, invested in our food. Bakers are so proud to engage with the new food launches and help us drive the food knowledge across the business, and they talk about it all the time. Everyone talks about whatever they want, and the subjects are just clearly telling me that the teams are generally really, really engaged. The other thing that we do, we have something called Gail's Quarterly Awards. So every quarter we get all the managers together and all the office team together, and twice a year.
I've seen that on LinkedIn. That looks quite good fun.
It's fantastic. So twice a year we have a shorter event, and twice a year after we finish our awards evening, we invite all the teams from all shops for summer party and the Christmas party, and everyone comes together and we have loads of fun. But at the Gail's Quarterly Awards, we celebrate success, give a little bit of a business briefing, but we celebrate success and we kind of set up an example of what's important to us, and we say to the teams, this is amazing, do more of that, and that was amazing, do more of this. So it's not only nicey and celebration. It has a very clear purpose to help people understand what are we looking for, what is the excellence that we're looking for, what do we mean, by someone being great at something. And I think this is really a pride moment for people to be recognized. And we're not only recognizing the bakeries and the managers. I cannot stress enough how important is that for us to recognize all the people in the office and in support departments. Sometimes those teams are completely forgotten because they work in the background, and there is nothing worse than the divide between us and them in any business. Obviously, we know all that. It's so easy to just take things for granted what people in different departments are doing to enable the bakeries to succeed. We take it very, very seriously, and it's a matter of pride for us to reward everyone in the business for things that were exceptional in a given quarter, and all the effort that they've put in to help bakeries and help Gail's succeed. And obviously we have so much fun, and we have wine, and we have food, and all that. It's one of my favorite days in the quarter, obviously, and thankfully, touch wood, we have great results to celebrate. We had another, the best quarter ever, as we've said, the last quarter to celebrate. So it's a good opportunity to help everyone let the steam off, set them for the next quarter, and get back to the bakeries a couple of days after, and get back on the journey and keep growing the business. That's the thinking. So I think all in all, it starts from finding the right talent, training and developing your teams, engaging with them, but genuinely engaging, not creating like fake things and like channels that don't take you anywhere. Genuinely listening to your teams and genuinely embracing your teams to engage with them, and that's how they stay. That's how you retain your team. And I think it's quite simple and quite obvious. And when you say it sounds very easy. But it takes a great team to actually deliver this, and I'm so lucky. We have fantastic teams at Gail's.
Yes, you say it sounds so simple, and I know for myself it can be simple to make that plan on a piece of paper, but getting that together and create that kind of thing. I think there's something really important you said, is that it's important to make it very clear how success look, because I tried that in different role within hospitality, outside hospitality, where I felt this a bit uncertain what success looked for me in this role, and then you just set up to fail in a way. You can never become good, and then that's the company or the leader's responsibility to be very clear about you're successful when you hit these three top things. These are the three top things in your job when you've done that. And I think also one of the things that I thought was really cool was that you do the celebration, but you also just clarify where you are on the journey. And I think that again people then know they can follow that, especially the managers that has to go out and lift the cultures out in the stores, which can be tough sometimes. There's some days where it's just not going as you wanted to, and it's a firefighting, and a water leak, or 3 people is ill, or or bread didn't show up, or coffee machine doesn't work. All these things is easier when you know there is something to celebrate later, or you are celebrated for something.
Absolutely. But those tough moments in the bakeries, in hospitality, in any hospitality business, that also remind us about all the great things that happen and all the successes you had. But in tough moments, the best leaders will make it feel like it's seamless. So I had a situation in one of our bakeries. New manager joined, and she's absolutely excellent. The team was a bit distressed and needed love and help. And it was like first week after her full training and induction. And they had quite challenging mornings. Something didn't come, overnight something happened, flood, whatever, you name it, they got it. It's one of my local bakeries, so I was there Saturday, maybe, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Who wants the MD to come in?
No, I'm all the time in the bakery, so no one is faced by me coming. I'm not like, it's not rare. I work from the bakeries basically, and I said, "How are you guys?" They're like, "Oh, we're great!" And I just wanted to give them a hug. I got them some chocolate. So, oh my God, I'm sure you survived the morning. Well done for getting through it. And they were like, "We're great." Cheville helped us with everything. We have the best manager ever. She made all the problems go away. She set us up for success, and we know what we're doing. So it was the toughest, but the best day we've had for many, many months. And that's the statement of the true leader. If you can make a difficult situation the best situation, you're onto something good. And, if you surround yourself with people like that have resilience, have vision, can find solution very easily, it's the best recipe for success. Otherwise, all of us wouldn't need to be here if things would get taken care of itself, isn't it?
No, then you've done your job, I normally say.
No, one needs, none of those jobs are needed then.
There was another interesting he said that we really spend a lot of time getting recruitment right.
Yes.
And you mentioned about getting the profile right.
Yes.
Because that's where I see often, they have all the right processes and systems, they have all the ATS and all those kind of things, and the first and the second interview, store training, trial shift and all that, but they often don't that why what character are we looking for, what really fits in this team, what would fit really well with the demographics of this area. And I think that's one core thing when recruitment gets right, is that you understand what you're looking for and what is missing in that team. I was never lucky to get I was apparently not good enough fit for Pret for many reasons, but I applied for a job when I moved here, and I was actually told that of all the candidates there was two candidates, me and another one, but the other one just had a better fit from the customer and the area they're going to manage. And that just gave sense for me. It was not like I didn't feel that I was discounted. And I got a really good explanation why they're choosing another candidate. And it was fair enough in a way. And then you move on. And I'm still like an advocate of Pret. I think they're amazing. So even though you can be rejected, you can actually be rejected in a way when people can really explain why you've been rejected, then it gets really good sense. That was a lot about people, technology. A lot of people talk about technology in the industry, and I don't know how many people I meet during the week that's buying a technology. Or how do you see technology? Some people call it savior. It's probably a bit big name, but it's the thing that's really gonna change hospitality to the positive. It's gonna really help the managers. Do you think tech is here to really transform the sector, or what is your view?
Absolutely. If you think about, just take your mind back 10 years ago. Could you think about all those apps and tech solutions that we have now in place in our businesses that are helping us with day-to-day operations, or long-term planning, or rotas, or safety, and so on and so on? It's something that we never thought about because it wasn't here, but now it is here. So if we think about what's going to happen 10 years from now on, how much and how fast forward it will take us, I think it will play massive part in how we think about business. For me, information technology is really interesting. How can technology support our insight and help us make better decisions? This is something that sometimes we probably don't think enough of and underestimate. We are engaged with trial, and I know you had Joe here on the podcast.
We love trial.
Yeah, me too. We do love it as well, and obviously I'm a huge fan of Joe himself as well, and everything that he has done for the industry so far. And people like that who have a vision and and want to better and better their product all the time and enable new functionality and want to push the dial. Those are the people to watch out for and stay close to and work with them, because they will help you be better with them being better. So you don't need to be expert in technology. You need to find those who are, and they will push you up, you know. I'm not sure if you've heard of this business, Sweet Greens, back in US.
Well, we are studying them with curiosity here at Hospitality Mavericks, because they're definitely on to something very special over there.
Yeah, I had the chance to meet the founders when I was back in the US, and they're so inspiring. The way they look at their business, it's a tech company that kind of, you know, it's existing through food, and obviously they have fabulous food mission, and they're actually delivering on this food mission, but they started from tech. That's why they can grow so fast, because tech and information technology helps them make better and better decisions and deploy their resources and invest in the right places and so on and so on. And I think this is something that we really need to, as business leaders and as anyone in the industry, we should be seeking help from technology, how to help us make better decisions. Even if you think about forecasting or ordering, even if you order on paper, you still do an equation. Computer can do this equation for you. If you can find support in any program or any software solution that will help you be better, I would totally do that. We're working now on a new system for exactly our F&B management, and are going through this whole overhaul of support of decision making for our managers to help us take the business to the next level. You know, we want to have 100 bakeries, so we need to think like we had 100 bakeries right now. When we wanted to have 50, we had to think 3 years ago how it's going to look like when we have 50, and now we're on a different journey. So technology is super important, and there are many amazing, creative, skilled people in IT in the whole tech industry that can help us do this. But it doesn't mean that we have to be an expert. We have to find the experts that can help us, I guess.
I think you're very right, and I think it's there's many people that said, but tech will never take the human element out of it, and they will not. I agree, and I think there's like 3 things tech should do, and I think one of them is making better decisions. This industry has been for many years been too much gut, because I come from a background from McDonald's where there was not much gut decision made there, because you had your data, and there's a reason why McDonald's buy tech companies now, because, and then you talk about Sweet Green. We had Nick Popovich on the podcast recently as well. He said that if you are not implementing or taking tech as part of your growth strategy, you will not be here. He's a founder of a tech company, so maybe you should say that. But
I mean, you're not going to be here. People still will have to eat and drink and do all those things. So you might be here. It's just the scale and the capacity might be different.
And my mom always said, as a restaurateur, there's 2 things that's always going to be in a market: the undertaker and the restaurateur. If you're going to die and you're going to eat. And also I think another thing around tech is that it has to save you time and maybe make you money sometime as well. And that's where it also can be leveraged if you integrate it in the right way. I think you touched a bit on that as well. I made a note before. It says books. You read a lot of books, and you brought me a book as well.
I brought you a book, Wabi Sabi. It's Japanese wisdom for a perfectly imperfect life. The book is fantastic, and I actually quite like the author as well. I followed her now on Facebook to see what she's up to. The book is exactly about life and how can you be happier. I believe in something called Ikigai. I don't know if you had a chance to read about Ikigai. For my 40th birthday last year, I traveled with my very best friend to Japan, to Okinawa, to the village called Ogimi. It wasn't easy to find. Sounds easy when I say it, and you can find it on the map, but it wasn't
Google
easy
couldn't help.
Google helped to show us where it is, so we booked our flights, but then going into it and really finding the village wasn't as easy, but we found it, and it was like the most liberating experience ever. And the whole kind of belief of Ikigai, that you need to find a great balance in your life and do always what makes you happy, and find in your profession as well the happiness, and you need to do something that you love, that you can help people with, that you can get paid for, and you have passion for. You know, it's something that I'm really a big believer of. You can say the life is long, but also the life is quite short. We are only here for a blip of a time in the grand scheme of things. So if we are here, let's be happy and let's do what makes us happy. And probably Wabi Sabi is like the next chapter. It's not the same author, obviously, but it's like the next level of everything about Ikigai and finding this balance in life. So So I hope you're gonna enjoy this.
I love kind of things like that. You should see my home. Like,
yeah.
I'm not allowed to buy any more books.
Okay.
For my wife, she said we have enough self-development and leadership books, and else is there?
Yeah. So one you might want to buy on Audible, so your wife doesn't see it.
Yeah. I'll do that already.
It's The Mind of the Leader. It's all about mindful leadership, and
it's about leading yourself
really
as
leading yourself first.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think we have to be absolutely accountable for us first before we can be accountable for anyone else. You want to wake up today and feel that you can be better than you were tomorrow, and that you can be good enough to lead the team, and you want to feel like you deserve to be in the position that you are, and you take care of yourself first before you take care of your team.
I have to ask you now, because we've been, circling around that leading yourself question all the time. What is the 3 leadership hacks you do every day? Because I can imagine for how you talk about it, you almost have like a bit of a habit creating things about what you do and where you go and get inspiration and stuff like that. Yeah. What is the top 3 things you do to lead yourself?
I think my most important hack is I know I said it 3rd time. If you want, you can cut it out. But I do believe that it doesn't matter what other people are doing wrong. Only matters what you can do right. Obviously, it matters, what they did wrong, so you can learn from that, and it matters what you're gonna do. But this is fundamental thing for people to understand. If you will really think about how can you help the situation, how can you help the person, how can you help solve the problem, how can you love the problem, how can you be invested in that, rather than thinking about working yourself up about people who make mistakes or didn't do something or don't like someone or didn't. It's just such a unproductive way of thinking, obviously, but most of the time you're anyway guessing what people thought. You're guessing why people did what they did. You're guessing why they made mistake. Maybe they didn't understand, maybe they didn't know, maybe they really thought that they're doing the right thing and they just didn't have enough skills, capability, perspective, clarity, directions, training, whatever. No one came to work and said, today I'm gonna just do badly. People sometimes make mistakes because they genuinely thought that they were doing the right thing, but it just didn't turn out to be right. So if you will invest all your time in thinking about what people thought or might have been thinking, it's not going to take you anywhere. So my really fundamental belief is that if I can help the situation, it only matters what I can do right, and how can I help people, how can I help the situation, how can I help us move forward from where we are, rather than trying to figure out, what people thought or why did they do what they did.
And I think it's a similar approach to this, that the time, in a way, I call it energy. So you're not a lack of time, you're a lack of energy often. And it's not just energy from, you can drink from sugar. It's like mental capacity, having that, half full glass, so you can actually take in whatever going to happen. Because I guess that it's hard sometimes accepting other people's life map, because we all come with different views of the world. Absolutely. And in with different knowledge and different things. And I guess you come to a certain stage in your career, as you say, where you actually get more balanced out on it, and you're more aware about yourself. And there's so many, I see in leadership that don't understand themselves, and that's actually the main reason why they can't get the leadership working. As soon as they unleash that bit and they understand themselves and where they're going to go and get that energy from, those 2 other things just becomes easier, and the Rubik Cube goes faster and faster. Nelson
Mandela, I'm not sure if I can quote it exactly, but he says, when you speak, you only say what you know. When you listen, you might learn something new.
Yeah.
And sometimes this is kind of just, the fundamental challenge for those who find themselves in those situations, that they forget to listen what everyone around them are saying. They keep saying stuff rather than listening to everyone who wishes them well and wants actually to help them.
Is there any specific things you do every day to find the energy to go out and be that person? Is there like some rituals, anything you do? Like, I know you're walking a lot. One of your big passions is to walk.
Yeah, I hike a lot. Yeah. Firstly, I'm not, a signed person. I make a lot of mistakes, and I get places as well with my mind. It's not all rosy, but in general, I have quite a few routines. I do. I'm quite organized with my time and respectful to overall time. I have, as I said at the beginning, I have 15 years old son who I love dearly, and I love spending time with him because he's fun, and we have great relationships. So I make sure that I make time for being a mother as much as being a businesswoman. Mm-hmm. I do love my holidays. I travel a lot. I love the experiences, and I like active life, and I like active holidays. So you wouldn't see me, lying down on the beach on holidays. You would see me ziplining, hiking, climbing a mountain, riding a bike, and so on and so on. So that's kind of the way I recharge and offload. I do yoga 3 times a week. I go to the gym most of the days, or something. Just do something active. That's the release mechanism. In the morning as well, I have my kind of morning routine that I built probably more subconsciously than consciously over the years. I wake up on time and I read. There's this great book that I read, Daily Stoic, and there is one quote every day that picks your brain. The way I go about it, I try to kind of think about it every day, and it stays with me. It kind of goes through the day. It's just a page, very quick read, and a lot of things kind of gets into place when you think about something, when you have some sort of a perspective or lens that you put on your day from the very beginning, and it helps you go. I always do a bit of yoga in the morning, but also just like, I think many people do that. It's kind of nowadays it's a thing, I guess.
Definitely people that want to keep their energy in the right place, they will have different things they will do. I have mine as well. I drink a lot of water in the morning. A liter of water is the first thing when I start, get up. That's to hydrate my brain, and then I call it some kind of energy meditation, but really focusing on getting into myself and then finding out what I want to achieve in the week and the day. So actually, so I keep the vision in front of me all the time. Maybe I'm not going to achieve it, but I'm dreaming about it, and then you just come out. You come out with a different energy, and even on the tough days, I will do this, even though it doesn't feel like it really gives, because everybody have tough days, as you say.
Absolutely.
And everybody has, dark moments.
Absolutely. We all make mistakes. We all go through.
We need to have tools to do those things. Sounds like you have some quite cool things that have been inspired by. Who is your hero? Where did you find inspiration from besides reading books and going on travels and stuff like that?
I did find a lot of inspiration from traveling and seeing quite a chunky part of the world, especially with my son. And I know it's probably gonna sound for some, but my son is my hero. Like, if we're going to start talking about my son right now, we will never finish this conversation. But I will tell you that this boy is 15 years old, and he has such a passion and drive for getting things done. When he gets into something, he goes like all in. He's part of DOV, so he did his bronze last year and he's doing silver now. And last year he was doing basketball. He's super tall. He's like 2 meters plus now, and he has physical condition to do that. And he got himself into volleyball. Volleyball is different to basketball. It requires different skill. And he found himself in that so well, and probably got into the right team in the right place, and has a good coach and so on. And he drives himself so much and tries to be as good as he can in something that he really loves. That is just inspiring looking at this. He now goes 3 times a week to a training session. He found himself a training camp in Poland. He goes for 2 weeks. Polish volleyball team are the world champions, so he's going to be trained with them, like by one of the guys, a couple of the guys from that team. And he's just looking for opportunities to be better in what he loves. And this is so inspiring. The second thing he does, like bass, he plays bass. He's like really good jazz bass player, and he's just going for it. He played Magic Radio's festival a couple of weeks ago with his band, and he's only 15. I'm so inspired. First thing is being passionate, actually having a passion and embracing this passion, and not sitting and thinking how nice would that be to do something. Actually doing it are 2 different things. And for that, in such a young age, to be so driven and so dedicated. He wanted to speak German. He went on the online course and he learned German. He did the whole course. He wanted to do Python and C++. He did that. He comes up with an idea and he does it. He is not waiting for me to tell him. Trust me, only once I tried to help him with homework in 15 years, even when he went to US. And he was like, Mom, you have no idea, Mom. Thank you. And we moved on from that. He just gets his things done. And I think what I'm really inspired by is his passion, but also dedication to do what he loves. and determination to be amazing at this. So when he's into something, he wants to be as good as he possibly can, not just do it. And that's what really inspires me. That's what life full of excitement and pride and passion is, to kind of do what we love.
That's a cool hero. He sounds like he can think it, but he can also implement it, which is two different hard skills to master. He's looking a bright future ahead, I think, if he continues at that speed. Yeah. In the end of the podcast, we always ask the guests for giving advice to the leaders of hospitalities and restaurants out there. If you can give one advice to them, what would that be?
I wrote in your book, you haven't had the chance to open it yet, but the dedication reads, "With love for life, Marta." This is my advice. Love your life, respect your time, and enjoy everything you do. Make it worthwhile.
That's a great advice. Probably one of the best one we had here. Remember yourself and love yourself. Thank you very much for coming down to Brighton. I know you had a reason to be here anyway, but even taking the time, as you talked before, I'm really grateful you took the time and shared your story and Gail's plans. And thank you for the cake and the book as well. I'm gonna enjoy that. Going on holiday soon, so the book will be very helpful. I haven't bought any holiday reading yet, so that's definitely one of them on the list. I'm sure we're gonna catch up in due course, and it's gonna be interesting to see where Gail's is moving from here, and yourself as well.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope we'll have a chance to catch up maybe in a couple of months and see where we both got to, not only myself.
Good, and take care out there.
Thanks.
Wow, that's all we have time for today. Thank you, Marta, for sharing your thoughts and approaches with us. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please give us a like, review, share, or even better, let us know what you think. Thanks to Let's Talk Video Production for your ongoing podcast assistance. We hope you enjoyed today's Hospitality Maverick podcast with me, Michael Tinkser. Tune in next time for another industry interview, and in the meantime, find out more about us and join our newsletter at hospitalitymavericks.com. Thanks for listening, and be Maverick.